everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Beard Al podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And though that was a can crack, it was a lie, for it is a high noon vodka seltzer. But hey, you still get your manual sound effect, so that's a delight. Speaking of delights, I have a repeat customer on this program. I have Garret, who is here touting a whole different project than he has been since the last time we were here. So first things first, welcome.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yay. And second things second, why don't you tell the folks listening what it is you've got going now? Because it's still a relatively new endeavor that I think folks should check out.
Yeah, so my old podcast, I haven't been drinking, I promise. My old podcast was the Ever Trending Story, and we had a lot of fun with that. I've talked about it ad nauseum on here when I'm on. And we shuttered that podcast just because our lives became far too busy to keep up with the ever changing status of the news and whatnot. And so what I've done instead is I've started a more geek-centered show that's a solo show called the NoDak Nerd, because I'm in North Dakota.
Ah.
And all I'm doing on there is just doing trailer reactions, some game reviews, any kind of just random nerdy thing that I can come up with. It'll be on there. I've got some cool plans in the future. And like you said, this is a baby show, so it's just starting out.
I love
so
it.
expect more to come in the future.
Yeah, so folks, check that out. If you're listening to this, you may not be in North Dakota. Most of you listening, probably. I check my stats. I think, Garret, you might be one of two people. But if you're listening to this, odds are you are a nerd. So,
Yeah.
should be right up your. I mean, I know my audience.
That's a pretty big section in the Venn diagram, I think, for listeners of this show and people who like nerdy stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, we nerd out hard over here. So, yeah, check that out. I'll put links in the show notes to it for you because, just because you're a nerd doesn't mean you can't be lazy. So if you're lazy, they'll be there for you. And that's delightful. Oh, my gosh. Y'all. I don't usually go hard on like personal stuff on this show, and I'm not going to go super hard on it either, but I just want y'all to know that we have been going through it a little bit here in Florida in the aftermath of the hurricane here. We've got, we were out of power and water for several days and still dealing with the aftermath of some damage and just, all the red tape that goes along with that. And, we know that we are fortunate to not have it anywhere near as rough as some people, north and south of us. But that doesn't negate the fact that, I'm having my own little hard time here too. Like comparison is the thief of something. And just because somebody has it worse doesn't mean I can't complain,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm a little mentally and emotionally zonked out, but I feel like talking about Weird Al music is something that can always make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good therapy of sorts.
Yes. So we're going to get all therapeutic here. Speaking, I don't know, I'm trying to make some kind of a segue between therapy and wanting a new drug, and I'm not finding a good nuanced way to do it. So, today we are talking about the next track on the Dare to Be Stupid album, and that is I Want a New Duck, which is a parody of I Want a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News. I Want a New Drug was from the 1983 album Sports, and which, honestly, I'm going to sidebar here for a very short moment. Sports, I firmly believe, is a perfect pop album.
Okay.
It is it is so catchy. Everything on it is so catchy. And one thing I love about Huey Lewis, always have, always will, is that somehow he's both pure pop, but also like really masculine. And there's just something I like about the whole Huey Lewis situation.
Sure.
So today, in preparation for this, I watched the video for I Want a New Drug, which is fine. It's just a, early mid 80s pop video, right? Whatever.
Yeah, I feel like those are pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. There is no video for the Weird Al parody I Want a New Duck, which is a shame. But yeah, it is. The thing I felt like so compelled to mention is the first comment, the top comment on the Huey Lewis video is something that I feel so deeply in my soul. It said, is it just me, or has Huey Lewis always been 45 years old?
I feel that.
And it's like, yeah, I don't care what age I've been. I've always looked at Huey Lewis and been like, Dad. Not like that reminds me of my dad, but he's like a dad.
Yeah, kind of like the whole Steve Martin thing. Like, that dude's always looked like the same age. And like when you realize how old he was in some of those old movies, it's like, well, maybe I'm not doing so bad.
Yeah. Man. So like I usually hit this part in the beginning with some facts about the Weird Al song. And frankly, it's such a straightforward parody that there really isn't much to write home about regarding the Weird Al parody as far as like facts go. Like, yep, it's on this album. Yep, it's a parody of this song. Yep, it's even in the same key. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Huey Lewis track because I love Huey Lewis so much and like everything that he stands for. He's
sure.
And it's one of those things like if you were to ask me like, Lauren, like what's your top 10 favorite like 80s artists? I don't know that Huey Lewis and the News would be front of mind if you were to like shake me awake and ask me that question.
That's fair.
But when I'm given the time to think about it, I'm like, dude's like top 5 for me. When I really sit and think about it, I was like, because this album is just so perfect. There's the Back to the Future of it all,
Yeah.
And so anyhow,
when I think of Huey Lewis, like my dad is the person who introduced me to him, which I feel like makes sense. And I haven't really traveled through their discography at all, but every song that I know from Huey Lewis and the News, I really enjoy. Like they're a fun band, but I think you kind of nailed it when you're like, well, they're not top of mind. But when you actually really think about it, like, oh yeah, they are actually really good.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And Huey Lewis is so incredibly, to this day, like aware of his place in pop culture and how people think about it, because there's that whole bit in the American Psycho movie where Patrick Bateman is like all about, this, hip to be square and talking about Huey Lewis and like the benefits and like perks and like positive traits of Huey Lewis music and stuff. And then Huey Lewis actually did a Funny or Die sketch that we have an episode on this show about satirizing that part of the film where he's the murderer and Weird Al's the guy.
Yeah.
And it's
I love that skit.
Oh, it's so good. But like he's so self-aware, Huey Lewis, of just like this is where I am. This is what I'm about, And so this song, I Want a New Drug, I never really got. I was like, what does this even mean? Do you have any idea what I Want a New Drug even mean? Like, what does it mean?
So I'm going to be very transparent with you.
I love it.
I'm sure I've heard the song before, but I never truly paid attention to it until earlier this week when I was reviewing both of these songs before our show tonight.
Okay.
And listening to it while focusing on it, I think that what he's kind of getting at is I think he's comparing his feeling of love towards this one person to like a drug.
Okay.
And I think that he's either breaking up with this person and he's trying to like find something that's as good as it was when he was with her. That's kind of what I got from it, and I could be way off, but that's kind of what I gathered as I was listening to it.
Yeah, I think you're exactly on base because the internet is telling me, according to Lewis, the song is a love song, and the meaning of the word drug in the song was purposely open-ended. So
Okay.
yeah, I think you nailed it. Well done. A+.
Yeah, because I think in the chorus he says like when I'm with you. I think that's kind of the word he repeats again. So I'm like, oh, that I guess that kind of makes sense. Like when you think of like your love towards someone, and if you're missing them or whatever, how you kind of feel like that emptiness, and you're trying to like fill it in a different way. I think
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, so listeners, you know that Russ usually joins me on a lot of these episodes anymore. But being the fact that Garrett's in a different time zone and it's a little too late for my husband. So, all that to be said, I'm going to tell a cute little Russ story actually from today. It goes right along with what you're saying, where it's like, when that person like, or that drug or whatever, like isn't around, like you feel weird about it, and my office is in the front of the house. His is just the other side of a very short hallway in the back of the house. Okay. We can hear each other all day, what have you. And sometimes I'll put in earbuds, and listen to music or something while I'm working. And he doesn't always know that I'm doing this. So he'll call to me from the other room and say something and I won't answer. And he literally walked into my office, saw that I had my earbuds in, like tapped me on the shoulder to take them out. And I took them out. And he's like, I just want you to know that whenever I call out to you from the other room and I don't get an answer right away, my first immediate thought is like, oh my God, is she okay? Like, what happened to her? I'm like, oh, that's real sweet. Even though I'm literally just listening to like garbage YouTube channels, So it's that kind of thing. Like he says something to me from another room, expects to get something back from it. And when he doesn't, he's like, oh no.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like, oh, that's cute. That's this song.
Yeah. You're his drug.
I am.
Or I guess a duck in Weird Al's perspective.
I am his duck. So talking about this, I'm on the, I get a lot of my information about the Weird Al tracks from the fandom wiki pages. Okay. So I'm on the Huey Lewis in the News fandom wiki page for this. And there's a section on the Huey Lewis in the News fandom wiki page for I Want a New Drug about the Weird Al Yankovic parody. And I need to read to you what the Weird Al Yankovic parody section of the Huey Lewis in the News fandom wiki page for I Want a New Drug says.
Okay.
In 1985, Weird Al Yankovic made a parody of the song called I Want a New Duck on his third album, Dare to Be Stupid. The song is about Al wanting a new duck with various features that his previous ducks did not have.
Okay, that was about as straightforward as it could possibly get.
No, it's so funny. Like, it's so funny. So,
oh, that's too good.
Yeah, like we could get into talking about the Weird Al song here now because we start with all the stuff that we think works. It's usually 3-ish things that we think work, and we're just going to have a conversation about that. Since it's just the two of us, I don't have to keep track of going round robin about anything. We're just going to have a free-flowing forum of ideas. So, with that said, I think one thing that works for me, and we could get micro on this, but I'm hitting it from a macro place first because I think this song just works lyrically on a lot of levels for me as a person. This is not a lot of people's favorite Weird Al parody. It's not even my favorite Weird Al parody, but what I think is great about it is how incredibly straightforward and punny it is. There is nothing to get. There are no questions. It's just like, yep, I'm going to make a lot of puns about ducks, and that's it. Yep. This is as straightforward as I Want a New Drug is ambiguous. And I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. And I had that as on my list too, of like just the the amount of bird puns throughout the whole thing is just perfect. And like you said, there is no like getting like confused with anything. Whatever he is saying is like actually happening. Like there's no getting confused with what's happening in this song. It's like you said, as straightforward as they could
Yep.
be.
Yep.
Um,
It's
I
great.
do want to point out too, when I listened to your last episode with Noah and Russ, and you mentioned this song, and Russ brought up the point about the show me how to get down, and then when he says got it, like I was listening for that part again, and I mean that's such a great joke in there too. Like it seems like every part of the verse that he writes always has just like this really good joke, just waiting in the chamber, and then he fires it off right before it goes to the next part.
You missed your chance to say waiting in the wings.
Oh, see, I don't get paid like Weird Al to write.
No. So yeah, speaking of that pun, the show me how to get down, baby, get it? I've told this story on this podcast more than once. But I did tease it on the last episode, so I absolutely have to tell it. And okay. I'm keeping this in the positive section of the show because this was my fault. This was not the fault of the song. And I will say that the fact that I was able to get something new out of it 30 years later after hearing it for that's for me is, you know what, bravo. So this was probably 2019-ish. Yeah, it was 2019 because I was listening to Weird Al, you know, as I do. But I was listening to Weird Al exclusively in the car because I was prepping myself for the Strings Attached tour where I had my VIP meet and greet ticket for the first time. This is when I would meet Weird Al for the first time. Okay. So anytime I was in the car, it was Weird Al. I was just like, I had different Weird Al playlists for different moons. I still have them on my Spotify. And I'll whip them out, you know, but I was just like, nope, this is my going to work Weird Al playlist, or this is my going to the gym Weird Al. This is my errands playlist, you know? And anyway, I'm driving around and I want a new duck. Happens. Now this is 2019, 5 years ago.
Okay.
I'm driving alone in the car, singing along to Weird Al, and I get the show me how to get down, baby, get it? And out loud to myself, I go, oh my God, I got it. I did not get it. Because I just listened past it. Sure. It didn't stand out to me. And like it should have, but it didn't, you know? So I'm not even embarrassed about that at this point. I am delighted that I was able to find new enjoyment from something that had been around my entire life, you know?
That's great.
So like, I'm gonna, again, keeping this in the positive stuff, like it's such a brilliant pun that like, it's not like blaring itself in your face, even though he's saying get it. It fits with the music in such a way that like you can miss it and like that's okay. And then when you do get it, you go, oh, brilliant. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure I've heard this song before, but when I was listening to Russ and he brought it up, I like kind of knew to like listen for it. But when he explained it, like obviously the thing is just right there. But I think if you're just not analyzing it from like a different perspective, like it's definitely easily missable because even the get it is kind of drowned out by the music, so it's really easy to just kind of like let that slide and not even pay attention to it. So
yeah, it's so easy to listen past. So we lyrically, of course, that is a thing that absolutely works, you know, the puns, they're just delightful. To the flip side of that, of course, I think musically, this is a very strong parody. You know, this is only his third album. I think this sounds just as much like the original as Girls Just Want to Have Lunch doesn't sound like the original. And I love the slight, like, this sounds so much like the original that, like, you could play this in the background at a party and, like, some people would miss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
uh,
Um,
yeah.
because I listened to Weird Al's first, and then I listened to Huey Lewis's, and when that one started up, I was like, "Is it playing Weird Al's again?" Like, it really does sound very similar, which I I always appreciate more because if you look at a song like Couch Potato, which already isn't one of Weird Al's better songs, let's just call it like it is. It's not great, but like musically, that song could be something completely different. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way the guitar sounds, the way it starts, like everything is just kind of off compared to this one, where it, like you said, if this is in the background, you could mistake it for Huey Lewis 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Except for the
Yep.
duck sounds.
Yep. Note number 2 for me.
Yeah.
Duck Bridge is perfect.
Duck Bridge is perfect. I love that. Because, like, if when you listen to them back to back on Huey Lewis track, that's just a tight group of saxophones, you know?
Yep.
But the ducks.
Yeah. It was so like because when I listened to Huey Lewis's and then the saxes kicked in, I'm like, this couldn't have been more perfect for Weird Al to parody with a song about ducks where you have the ducks mimicking the saxophones. It was so good, it like blew me away. Like
Yep.
it really did. I was just like, that was such a good move on Weird Al's part.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I absolutely couldn't agree more. I'm at the point where I have a lot of thoughts about this song, and I think I need to save one of the things that I'm about to say for the flip side, I guess,
Okay.
of this, because it's not, I don't even know. But interesting, like, this was a single, you know, but it doesn't have a video. It was released, you know, it was the third proper single from the album, right? Like, 'cause This Is Life was released as a single before the album came out,
Okay.
but because it was on the Johnny Dangerously soundtrack. Okay. So, like, this song was the second parody single from this album. Doesn't have a video. All this, that, and the other. And again, I'll talk about my thoughts on this on the flip side. But one of my big pluses for this song is that it's just such a strong, tight parody, and it's not trying to do anything other than be that. And I think this is very indicative of what a good Weird Al parody was at the time, 1985. You think about the parodies that started cementing his place in the, pop culture zeitgeist, which I just love using the term zeitgeist whenever I get the chance to.
That's a fun word to say.
It's a good one. It's a good word. And like, so you've got Eat It, right?
Yep.
You've got Like a Surgeon, which is on this same album. You've got a bunch of the parodies that were on the album before, King of Suede or theme from Rocky 13, They're straightforward. They sound really good when compared to the original in a lot of cases. And they're showing you what he can do. And this is not any weaker than a lot of that kind of set of parodies, in my opinion, I don't think this is a weak song by any stretch, and I don't think it gets enough love, because I think if I had to have like a third, because I've got the lyrics, I've got the music. If I had to have a third, like, proper point, like what I really think works about this song, it would just be that this perfectly encapsulates like what he was doing. Like, yes, it's silly, but it's also really, really smart in its silliness. And I think this is a perfect Weird Al parody in a lot of ways, and I don't think it gets talked about enough.
No, I mean, I definitely don't think of this song whenever I think of Weird Al, and I suppose most of it is because my audience of Weird Al is now my children, and they wouldn't catch who Huey and the Lewis, they wouldn't be caught dead listening to them, in all honesty. So, like, this isn't one I would introduce to them, but they, will listen to some of the more, pop ones or whatever that they're more familiar with. But, now that I've actually listened to this one, while it's still not a favorite of mine, it is definitely better than it has any right to be, and
Right.
um, it definitely deserves more rotation than it probably gets. I listened to or I use YouTube Music, and what it does is it breaks down like all the different listens that each song kind of gets on the streaming service.
Okay.
And like looking at the album, Like a Surgeon has 38 million plays. I Want a
Wow.
New Duck has 1.1 compared to, I guess, even like Slime Creatures from Outer Space or Cable TV is the lowest one on this list at 130,000.
Uh-huh. Huh.
So, but I mean, at least it's in the millions, but compared to everything else, it definitely doesn't get what it deserves. And honestly, like this one even says Yoda has 21 million. I would much rather listen to I Want a New Duck over Yoda, personally.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Yoda is such a classic Weird Al track that, oh, that's really interesting. So I have to go back just a second.
Sure.
I love the data, first of all. I love you coming with data. I'm not trying to discount that. Like, I think that's marvelous. And I think it speaks a lot of just the fact that this does get ignored. But you were talking about your kids and
Yes.
Weird Al stuff. Have they heard Polkamania yet? The new polka?
They have not. Although, so as of late, my kids have really been getting into it. So the other day on the way home, I was streaming just music through my car, and then Fat came on.
Yes.
And we were all just singing along in the car, and it was really funny too because as you've talked about on your show before, one of your favorite parts on that song, I think it's also Russ's too, when it's kind of getting towards the end and he goes, "And I'm huge, I'm fat."
It's my mom's favorite part of that song.
Both kids and I just nailed it as it came out, and it was like just filled me with such joy that they're like, oh, they like that, like they caught it and they like react, like they were waiting for it. It was really cool.
I love that so much. I really feel like we need to revisit this because we have talked about Polkamania a little bit on this show before, but I would love to get some young human reactions to Polkamania and what it's all about. So if you do play Polkamania for your kids, I would like to know what they think because it's going to be songs that they recognize in a way that they don't.
Yeah, I should definitely do that with all of them because my youngest at the moment is 9 and my oldest is 17. So I would just love to kind of gauge each of their reactions to see what they think because I honestly don't know if they've ever heard a single polka song in their life. So it'd be really interesting to see how they all react to it.
Far be it for me to try and give you to tell you what to do on your own new program that you're putting together. But I do feel like your children of various ages reacting to a Weird Al polka, one that they'll know the stuff on for the first time, that would be gold. That would be gold.
Hey, I've got plenty of time to get reactions and record it and see how it goes. I should really do that.
I think you should. Because this is something I need to mentally unpack, yeah. It's we're not, we're going where we're going with this now but when I was a kid, talking about when I heard the alternative polka for the first time, I knew a lot of the songs, some I didn't, but I got what was happening, and then Polka Power in 99 was the first one where I was like, oh, I know every single thing on this. I completely understand this. And then retrospectively, the polkas that came before, it all makes sense. And I was getting to the point with the polkas on the last couple proper albums. I was like, I don't know what he's singing about anymore. But that's not the fault of the polka. There's still some really solid polkas. It's just I'm not following along with this. So I like that this latest one, it covers a 10-year span.
Yeah.
And it's really deliberate with what's happening. I knew most of the things in it, which I was like, oh, okay. So these are the real big touchstones of the past 10 years versus trying to get a year and a half into a song where it's I may not know everything, So I thought that was really, really cool. And I would love to see somebody who's, in the age range where that's what they're listening to, have a reaction to it. So, anyhow.
I'm looking for content. That'll be an easy one to do. So
do it. And folks, I will share the crap out of that on all my Weird Al stuff. I'll tell you what, because, you'll enjoy it. Did you have any other positive, like super positive points you wanted to talk about with I Want a New Duck?
The only other thing that I had written down, and we kind of touched on it earlier, was that this song I feel like helped Funny or Die come up with their sketch.
Yeah.
Just because of the combination of whatever. And I thought that sketch was really funny. I just watched it fairly recently too because of this episode, and it still made me laugh. And anytime you can see Weird Al do some acting, even if it's a little hammy or whatever, but I still enjoy it. So
that's great. He's yeah. I love being able to see him do pretty much anything. And you're right. You're right. The fact that like this, again, what I would argue underrated parody helped put another bit of funny content out into the world.
Yep.
It's it is what it is. I think it's delightful.
Yeah.
I think it's great. So yeah, I mean I love I Want a New Duck. I really do. It's like it's not groundbreaking by any means.
No.
Okay.
No.
But there's a lot worse in Weird Al's oeuvre and also just in general,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so, like, there's nothing wrong with it. And I feel like it needs more of a chance. I would love for him to do this song live on the new tour that's happening.
Yes.
Because he's going to have...
Get my tickets.
You need to do it. He's got a bigger band. There's going to be more opportunities for things to happen. Just today, we're recording this on October 2nd, just so people know. It doesn't really matter. You're only listening to this like less than a week and a half later, so it's not like this is not timely. But just today, Weird Al's Instagram shared a photo of him doing "I Want to Be Your Lover," and it was just a picture from a previous tour where he did it, and he was like Weird Al, like he's talking about the bigger, better, more awesome, huge, whatever 2025 tour. I'm gonna have to memorize that, like I memorized the Unfortunate Return of the Ridiculously Self-Indulgent Ill-Advised Vanity tour. But I'll get there. I haven't seen it yet. But he was like, I can't wait to get in your face again in 2025. And during that song, he goes into the crowd and like gets in your face and stuff. I have an aisle seat.
Okay.
I'm not too far back either. It's within the realm of possibility.
Okay.
That he will be getting in my face.
That's awesome.
Which has been something I have wanted ever since he started going into the crowd doing One More Minute. The first time I saw him. I was always sitting on the wrong side of the venue. I was always on the opposite aisle.
Oh, okay.
And I was devastated pretty much every single time. But who knows? This could be my time. This could be my time.
I have a feeling this is going to be the tour where Weird Al gets right in your face.
Yeah.
And makes eye contact.
Well, I got the VIP, so I'm going to talk to him afterwards, even if he doesn't get up in my face. But but yeah, like that's just a dream. That's just a dream that I have had since, I was just an itty bitty child. Small child seeing Weird Al for the first time. So, I'm going to toss it over to a little ad break here. And I got to tell you, Garret, you alerted me to this. And so I feel like I need to alert the people to it as well. I checked all my settings and everything. And I was just like, yeah, I have it to not allow like drugs or cigarettes or sexually explicit content or politics. Like these are not things I have opted into for ads on this program. I made a big point of saying it on the last episode, and then you reached out to me. You're like, yeah, so I was listening to your episode and I got an ad for a Republican running for freaking office, and I'm like, I did not allow that.
It couldn't have been better timing. Like you guys have just finished like, yeah, no political ads. And then all of a sudden you hear, and I don't care whatever side of the spectrum you land on. If you don't want to hear that stuff, you don't want to hear it. And all of a sudden you hear Donald Trump's voice. It's like, I didn't want this in my podcast.
Yeah. I didn't want it in my podcast that I'm putting out there like anybody. So first of all, thank you for alerting me to this. And second of all, if you do hear ads for any of the aforementioned things that I said I have disallowed, please let me know. But anyway, you're going to listen to some stuff now that I have nothing to do with other than the fact that I get a couple of cents for it. So we'll see you on the flip side.
Greetings, fellow nerds. It's Garret, your host of the NoDak Nerd, part of OddPods Media, the podcast where we explore the vast realms of geekdom. From the latest superhero flicks to retro video games and everything in between, we've got you covered. Join me for insightful reviews, hilarious discussions, and maybe even a few heated debates. Find the NoDak Nerd wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's get nerdy.
And we're back!
What viewers don't, or what listeners get to miss out on, is the visual of the wind up before the end. We're back, and it was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Gotta build up to it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we've talked about all of that, and now we're going to talk about stuff that, bums us out about the song.
Yes.
Do you have anything that bums you out?
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna throw my phone.
Yeah, well, that bums you out.
So here's the and I've been racking my brain on this because I guess I can come up with like two things, but one of them for sure that's kind of a bummer about this is not a great follow-up song on the track listing after Dare to Be Stupid.
Oh no.
Dare to Be Stupid is such a fantastic song, and I'm not going to get any more into it than you guys did on the last episode. I think that was very well encapsulated. It's a fantastic song. I love that song a lot. And I don't know what else you could have put on in its place that would have been an okay follow-up, honestly, at least on this album that I can think of. But, even though this is a pretty high-quality song, I just feel like it's kind of a step down from the one before it.
Oh, absolutely. By far. Like that's a brilliant observation. And as we go through this album, a theme is going to begin to emerge. And side one of Dare to Be Stupid is so much better than side two. Like, this is like a great EP and then a bunch of stuff on the other side. And I'm saying it now. Like, and this will, again, like I said, begin to emerge as we go through this. So, yes, I absolutely agree with you because Dare to Be Stupid is by far, like, head and shoulders and knees and toes above any other track on this album at all. Like, yeah, that's the song. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's great. It's brilliant. It's a shining star of a song. And how do you follow that up? Like, you can't. Right. You just can't. Yeah. So, yeah, this song absolutely suffers from track listing for sure. But like as a standalone, it's fine. It's fine. It's a great little, it's the B-side to I Want a New Duck was Cable TV, which didn't do it any favors. But, like, this is what bums me out. Then this is where I'm going with this. So Dare to Be Stupid. The album itself has 11 tracks. Okay?
Yep.
One of which is not even getting its own full episode of this program because it's a cover of the George of the Jungle television theme song. Whatever. So I'm not counting that. So this album actually has 10 proper songs on it. Okay?
Sure.
6 of them were released as singles. This Is the Life. Like I said before, that was released in November of 84 from the Johnny Dangerously soundtrack. This album didn't come out until June of 85. So This Is the Life. It was released as a single, yes, but it doesn't really count as a single for this album in my mind. Okay?
Okay.
Then Like a Surgeon comes out June 4th of 85, which is, 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, 2 weeks ahead of the release of the album as the kind of like, okay, here's a new thing. Yeah, it's going to be great. So Like a Surgeon makes sense to do, because Madonna being Madonna at the time, Madonna was Madonna. Like, it makes sense. And then the next single, the freaking polka, Hooked on Polkas. Okay, which came out the day the album came out. And then I Want a New Duck was released as a single in July. One More Minute released as a single in August. And then Dare to Be Stupid was released as a single in August of 86. So that came out way later, but I would guess it was released way later as a single due to its inclusion. I just said due to its inclusion on the soundtrack of Transformers the movie, which was a 1986 film, right? So that song was, it was released as a single connected to the Dare to Be Stupid album, but connected to a movie. So the singles for this album are basically sandwiched by 2 movie songs, you know? So all this to say, it feels like the only single that really got the appropriate attention on this album was like a Surgeon. And this song could have done something. It's so much better than Girls Just Want to Have Lunch. It's so much better than the polka on this album. You know, it's great. But it just it was just like, okay, here's this song. You know, it's there. It's a single. We're not going to do a video for it. The video, I don't even care. It could have been cartoons of ducks. You know?
Yeah.
I don't care. But it's just like, no, nothing. And so I guess the thing that bums me out is that I think we all kind of collectively think what we think about this song, not because it's lacking in any way, because it is absolutely in the top half of the songs on this album. Yeah. For sure. It just kind of got lost in the shuffle of a lot of things. And I think that's sort of a bummer, you know? So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know exactly where Weird Al's fame was at the point of this album. And I don't know where like Huey Lewis was sitting either.
Oh, Huey Lewis was top of the world, baby.
Yeah, which is, I mean, just kind of goes to show that maybe this song should have gotten more love because of who he was doing. And like we said, like the track itself is mastered beautifully.
Yeah, and sounds great.
Yeah, everything flows well with it. And yeah, like you said, the fact that a song like a Surgeon or Girls Just Want to Have Lunch, like just 2, in my opinion, lower quality songs overall get way more attention than something like this.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like I could not agree more. Like I'm just looking here like the Huey Lewis song Power of Love was a #1 US hit, and it was featured in the 1985 film Back to the Future. So 1985, Huey Lewis was everywhere, and they also recorded the song Back in Time for the movie, and Huey Lewis himself had a cameo appearance in Back to the Future as a faculty member who rejects Marty McFly's band to audition for the school's Battle of the Bands contest. So it's in it. And Power of Love was nominated for an Academy Award. Huey Lewis was huge in 1985. Yeah. Just because Weird Al was parodying a 2-year-old song doesn't mean that this couldn't have done something, you know?
Right. Yep.
It just bums me out in a little bit of ways. So that's where I'm at with this. I don't have anything to complain about the song. I think it deserved more than what it ended up getting. Yeah. As far as a lot of things go.
That's pretty much all I can really come up with as far as like a negative for this, because it's great on all other accounts. It's just, it's never top of mind. And I think that's just because of the lack of push it got.
Could not agree more. So now we get to the fun part where we get to rate the song on the Weird Al scale of 1 to 27. And I've given myself some freedom. I think I gave Dare to Be Stupid a 27. I think the Like a Surgeon, I think I was somewhere like 22-ish. Kind of giving myself a little bit of room there. I don't think this is as strong as Like a Surgeon, so I'm going to give I Want a New Duck. I'm going to put it at a 20. Okay. And again, I'm just taking. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a really good parody and indicative of what Weird Al was up to at the time. I think that it suffers from being on a weak album. I think it suffers from not having any attention, given to it. And I think, there's better Weird Al tracks just kind of in general, not so much on this album for a lot
No,
for a
no.
lot of parts. But it's squarely mid in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be lauded. So I'm giving it a 20.
Okay. I think that's a fair number. Just kind of based on looking at everything as far as like this album and stuff goes, I think I would actually put this at like a 23.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said already a couple times, great production, fun lyrics, great puns, and the duck saxophone part is just it's all great things. So
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Garret, thank you for being here today.
Of course.
Hooray! I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but please tell folks again where they can find your NoDak Nerd stuff and whatever else.
Yeah, so we are on YouTube. It's at NoDak Nerd, and then if you were subscribed to the ever trending story, you are already resubscribed to the NoDak Nerd because I just took over that channel.
Ooh, grandfathered in. Love it.
Yeah. If not, everything on social medias is at NoDak Nerd, just keeping it simple. And
Love it.
Yeah, I've got a couple actual episodes out, and then I did just like I'm doing gameplay footage, so I've got a footage of the new Zelda game, which is super fun if you're into Legend of Zelda. So go check that out.
Cool. I love that. See,
Yeah.
Did you ever think when you were, growing up nerd that you'd hit a point where this would be something that, you could put out there into the world as a side project hobby sort of thing? It's like, no, people are going to enjoy my nerdy hobbies.
Yeah. No, it's crazy how the atmosphere of this stuff has changed in the last 10 years or so, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Just like podcasts blowing up and like Let's Plays and Twitch streaming and YouTube is just everything has gotten so big lately. It's awesome that people can kind of find a niche of what they enjoy and enjoy it with other people. It's so cool that we actually have that ability now. So
bravo. I love it. Yeah. So, all right, fellow nerds, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to come at you again next time with oh boy. Next time is going to be big. It's going to be a big one. And when I say big, I mean there's just going to be a lot of people in the room. I've got my friends from the Itch Rock radio show and podcast. I think like two of them. Yeah, at least two. I think Casey and Aaron are going to be back. They've been on the show a couple of times before. We love them here. They're great friends of the show and great Weird Al fans. And Russ will be here as well because, they're in the same time zone and they can record like early. They're going to be here to talk about One More Minute. And it'll be interesting to have a bunch of the Itch Rock guys there. They're hard rock fellas. That's like they've got a hard rock show, and the fact that they picked One More Minute, the doo-woppy song, to come on and talk, I'm like, bravo! This is gonna be a good combo. So that's what y'all are gonna get from us here next time. And Garret, again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always love coming on this show and talking Weird Al with other people who like Weird Al.
Hooray! So, all right, folks. We'll catch you again next time. Meanwhile, stay weird. Bye!
Bye!